All right, we got to talk about it. NFL football is quite possibly the greatest sport that exists on this planet today. I love it. You love it. Most people love it. But there's a travesty going on in the league today. And that travesty is due to the misapplication of statistics in football. See, NFL coaches seem to think that they found the fountain of youth in statistics within football. And by looking at these magic numbers of how often fourth downs have been converted successfully, for example, are driving decisions which are very poorly made. The fact of the matter is that any given statistic, the validity therein is only as good as one's ability to replicate the variables which were present at the time the statistical event occurred. So this game is played by people. Okay? People are variables. How much can somebody lift? How fast can somebody run? It's all these metrics that we look at. How high can they jump, right? It's trying to assign values, known values, to a variable, which is a human being. That's why you see so much focus in the NFL draft on how fast somebody can run, how many reps they can do, how high they can jump, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what do we hear more and more in the NFL draft today? That, you know what, those measurables may not be as important as we once thought. People are learning about the game. Well, we're currently in the early stages of statistical football, and it is being grossly misapplied. For every variable that differs from those which were present at the time that the statistical event occurred, the probability that that statistic will be valid, in other words, the likelihood that, let's say, 60% of the time fourth downs are converted. Well, if we don't look at the variables therein, we can't adequately say or can't accurately say that, okay, 60% of all fourth downs will be converted successfully. Now, I'm making myself go cross-eyed here. So, quite simply put, this is a game of Jimmies and Joes, and that's much more than it's a game of X's and O's. Now, I know that the coaches are some of the most brilliant folks out there when it comes to those X's and O's, but it does appear that they did not attend their Stats 101 class freshman year in college. The blind application of statistics in football without considering the variables is just flat out stupid. And quite honestly, it's lazy. And it's driving me nuts. You can probably figure out why. Brandon Staley may be the worst at application of statistics. And here, let me put it simply. The stats that exist today were created based upon situational decisions which were made at the time the statistical events occurred. In other words, when Lou Holtz went for it on fourth down back in the day, he didn't just go for it on fourth down because he looked at his watch and said, hey, it's afternoon, and 90% of the time in the afternoon, fourth downs are converted. No. He looked at his players, his personnel. He looked at the other side of the field and went, hey, this guy's hurt. We've got our guy right here, Jimmy over here, is just absolutely dominating this guy. Hey, there's a rookie cornerback that just came in. We're going to exploit this guy, right? That's situational football. So situational football is what defined the very statistics that we are now trying to use in place of taking account for the situation, the variables. Bottom line, it's being misapplied all across the NFL. It's pathetic. And It's not that hard, folks. You just need somebody to do the research to figure out why decisions were made. Because the more variables you're able to identify, the more accurate you can be in your application of statistics going forward. Bottom line, I'm available. Brandon, give me a call.